You've probably heard the story of Jesus' burial, but have you ever wondered if it was actually possible? Did a guy named Joseph of Arimathea really just take the body of an executed man off a Roman cross and put it in his own tomb? The short answer is yes. Not only was it possible, it was historically and legally plausible. Let's break down how this could have happened. First, let's talk about Roman law. To get a body down from a cross, you couldn't just sneak in and take it. You had to officially ask for it. Roman legal texts, like the Digest of Justinian, show that it was common practice to grant the bodies of executed criminals to anyone who requested them for burial. There was one major exception: high treason. If you were executed for treason against the emperor, your body was usually left on the cross as a warning. Now, Jesus was crucified for being the king of the Jews, which sounds a bit like treason. But the Gospel accounts famously show the Roman governor, Pontius Pilate, didn't seem to take this charge very seriously. He even seemed reluctant to execute Jesus at all. This is where Joseph of Arimathea's status becomes crucial. He was a member of the Sanhedrin, the Jewish high council, and described as a wealthy and respected man. His social standing would have given him direct access to Pilate. He wasn't just some random person off the street. He was an influential figure making a formal request. So Joseph had the legal standing. But what was his motivation? It was likely driven by Jewish law. The book of Deuteronomy is very clear. Anyone executed and hung on a tree must be buried before sunset. Leaving a body exposed overnight was believed to defile the land, a serious religious offense. On this particular Friday, the pressure was immense. The Sabbath and the major festival of Passover were beginning at sundown. The Jewish authorities were in a huge rush to get not just Jesus' body, but the bodies of the two thieves crucified with him, taken down and buried. If Joseph hadn't stepped in, the Romans would have most likely disposed of the bodies in a common criminal's pit, a dishonorable mass grave. Joseph's action was a religious necessity. Now, was this a secret burial? Well, it was secret in the sense that Jesus' closest disciples, who had scattered in fear, weren't part of it. But it was far from a secret to the authorities. To get permission, Joseph had to go straight to the governor's palace, a very public act. The Gospels also tell us that several women, including Mary Magdalene, followed Joseph. They saw exactly which tomb he used. They were eyewitnesses. Furthermore, the Gospel of Matthew adds another layer. It says the Jewish leaders were so aware of where the body was that they went back to Pilate the next day. They were worried Jesus' followers might try to steal the body and claim he had resurrected. So, they specifically asked Pilate to post a Roman guard detail right at that very tomb. You don't guard a tomb if you don't know where it is. This proves the location was known to both Roman and Jewish authorities. This brings us to one final, fascinating theory: the idea of a temporary burial. Think about it. Joseph was racing against the clock. The sun was setting. He might not have had time for the full, proper Jewish burial rituals. So, what if he used his own nearby unused tomb as a temporary holding place? The plan might have been to put Jesus' body there just for the Sabbath, and then, after the holy day was over, move it to a more permanent, but less honorable grave suitable for an executed man. This theory is interesting because it could explain why the tomb was found empty on Sunday morning without requiring a supernatural event. Joseph could have simply come back late Saturday night or early Sunday morning to complete the reburial as originally intended. So, when we look at the historical context, Roman law, Jewish religious obligations, and the political situation, the burial of Jesus by Joseph of Arimathea isn't just a story of faith. It's a series of events that fits perfectly within the legal and cultural framework of first-century Judea. It was a public request, a religious duty, and an event witnessed by multiple parties. Whether you see what happened next as a miracle or something else, The initial burial itself is one of the most historically grounded parts of the entire narrative. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this breakdown interesting, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into history. See you next time.